Hello and welcome to another MrBetaByte video, and this one's a little bit different insofar as we're looking at a Sony C9, and as you can see it is a Sony, and this is actually a repair I'm doing for someone, and the main issue with it, well, the full description is it isn't loading. Now, I thought it was probably going to be something to do with the loading ring or something like that, mainly because he's changed the belt. There's one belt on these, and it hadn't fixed the issue. But looking at the door here, which is the secondary door for the, no, it's not, it's the first door for the front loading system, so that's where the tape goes through. And then as it drops, you get the silver door sort of wheeled into place. So yeah, that's off. So I suppose we had better crack on. So the covers are off, and it's a pretty tidy machine. Still got its original backup battery, which I may suggest to its owner we remove because they can cause problems. There's also a screw missing here, so this wasn't sitting very nicely, so I've put a new screw in there. That's cool. So what's it doing? The front loading system is down, but it's not laced, and this is what happens. If I press eject, so you can see it's the front loading system motor is just driving. Well, I suspect either a bit of plastic's broken, gears popped out from another gear, so the link between them is broken. Possibly a switch. Well, this is basically out of alignment. Something similar to that. It's encouraging it's got metal gears. It's actually a nice deck insofar as it also has the later vented DC-DC AC converter. So I think we need to get the front off and have a look at this front loading system. Okay, so the front cover's off, and giving it a quick clean as well. So, time now to take off the front loading system. So, first thing I'm going to do, which is the thing I always forget, except this time when I haven't, is the little clip that goes on there. So it's one of those usual Sony clip. It's the same one as goes on the pinch roller, and that is actually the wrong screw. Not that it really matters, to be fair. Oh, that's tight. Try this one. It's not so tight. Doing this one-handed, of course. There we go. And then that one. And then that one down in there. And right, so yeah, I'm gonna loose that off. Whoop. That one. caught up. That one. Yeah, I was going to cheat and just bend it a bit, but I'm going to do it properly. And sort of jostle the front loading system out of the hinge there. But I don't know why I found that so hard. And clip here. I can do this one-handed. So there we go, just comes off. You can see there that's been bent actually. So at some point, try and bend that back so it sits properly. Then undo the cable management and move this out of the way. Try and do it without breaking the cabling. And this should there's another bit of cable management, just fouling it slightly. Let's just make sure that has actually come off, because even when you take the clip off, sometimes the bit of metal goes into the groove of the clip, and you still end up bending it. Oh, that's the other connector. Could have told me. So yeah, those two. And I suppose better have a look and see what's going on. So it all looks fairly good. Screws on the micro switch are okay, and the other micro switch are okay. Yeah, so I wonder what is actually yeah, I can see what's wrong. I don't know why I didn't spot that straight away. This is in the unloaded position, and in there should be a little bit of gear, which is, you can see it down there. I wonder if I can show you a bit better. It's that bit there is should be in there. So that's what's wrong. It's popped out. It's fairly common, that I've seen a few that have done that, and I don't really understand why. So maybe we'll look at that, why that should be the case. But yeah, I suppose I don't want to take it apart if I don't have to. If I can just strip it down a little bit and get that back in, then we might be all right. But yeah, let's see what we can do. So I've actually lifted the cassette basket now, and I've removed the little sort of guiding metal plate that sort of helps keep this together at the top end, and you can see that should be in there. And again, I don't want to do this one-handed, but we'll give it a go. You can potentially just pop that over. Yeah. So I was just looking at this off camera, and I spotted there was a crack. Just about make it out. It is actually larger than it actually looks on camera, and I wonder if that's partly what's been causing the problems, or allowing it to pop off. There must be a lot of force going through this arm, and obviously if it can move that bit further, or sort of out, it's given the opportunity to move out, it will pop off. So I wonder if that's what's causing the problem. So anyway, I've put it back on, and so far so good. It all seems to work okay, but I think I'm going to take this off and try and glue this as best I can, and hopefully that'll stop it being a problem. Gears removed, and you can just about see the crack, or you see it quite clearly there. So that is not going to be helping it sort of keep its alignment as it takes a tape in, especially if it struggles or the tape doesn't go in quite straight or something. It gets sort of jammed. It's probably just going to send the crack straight up the side there. So I'm going to have a go at gluing it. It's not the easiest thing to glue, but we'll have a good old go. We've got some super glue, so hopefully that'll sort it. Also, we'll renew the grease as well while we're in there. I haven't really there's nothing really to time there. All the timing's done sort of here, and obviously this has got to run parallel, so it takes the tape in properly and doesn't overstrain one or other side as well. They are quite fragile, these, even with the metal gear, it's still got to be careful. And I have checked, and these two things here that hold, they actually clamp down on the cassette once the carriage starts going in, and these are lifting at the end of the travel, so that's good. So I'm happy with the actual front loading system. It's just this gear, really. So yeah, I'll get this glued, and it should be good to go. Looking much better now. You can still see that it has been cracked, but this now, I mean, I've flexed it, and it's well and truly glued, and it's very solid. So I'm quite happy about that. I did toy with the idea of possibly using some wire, putting a small hole in this bit of plastic and basically wrapping the wire around it really, really tight, which I might consider doing. I did actually have a look at my other gears, see if I had another one, because I've got a few of these front loading systems that are broken for parts and whatever, and every single one is cracked in some way, shape or form. One of them is cracked here, and actually goes through this bit here as well, which isn't ideal. Most seem to be cracked here in the same place as this. So that's sort of, I mean, it's sort of resolved the mystery of why these are popping off, because obviously if this can move enough, that's what's causing it. So interesting. That's something to bear in mind. So that's back on, and yeah, hopefully things will be a lot better. I'm going to grease this up now, clean up some of this old grease on here, and put on some PTFE based grease, which should hopefully keep it nice and free. All done, and I've even put the front door on, which is actually quite easy to do. Just wind this in a little bit, sort of up to, so this bit here is up to here, maybe a bit further. Then wind the spring round, so the one piece of it is round here, and then wind this round so the spring clips under there, and it does actually go beyond the end of the bar for it. So you hook that on, then push the bar into the hole, and then you need to bend this, and it will bend a fair old way before it actually gets distorted, and push it into this side, and that's it. It's nice and free and works well. Here's this side all done. I've put new foam on the top. That looks a bit big. It's like double the height of the original foam, or what the original foam would have been. But this will squash down nicely under the case, so it's just extra support, really. And jury's out on this, why this popped out. One thing I hadn't taken into account is when I got this machine first, took the cover off, top cover off, took this out, this screw was missing. Now if this screw is missing, the amount of force that's going against all of this here will push this out. And if it's pushing this out, it'll push this out, probably around this area here, because obviously you've got the guide there to stop it popping off. So I think it's more to do with this screw rather than the crack, but at least the crack's done. So yeah, and it like I say, it does seem really strong. So yeah, very pleased with that. It's looking good. Pretty hopeful it's going to work well. I've also replaced the old whatever it was, tape, duct tape, with clear tape, so it represents sort of more what was originally on there. They used fiber infused plastic tape, so it's plastic tape with fiber mixed with sticky. So yeah, it's quite interesting tape, really. It gone bad on the side as well, so I replaced that, given it a grease, and yeah, it all seems to be fine. So we'll put it back in the machine. Powered it on, all good to go. Thought, oh, I'll just see what the brightness is like on the bright setting, and it does that. So the DC AC is dodgy and it needs all its caps changed. So because it's the vented type, that's cool, not a problem. The sealed type, I mean, the caps do go bad in those, but usually what happens as well is part of the transformer winding gets sort of eaten away. I believe it's something to do with the processors they used, possibly even flux, I don't know, but it eats away at the copper and it just wrecks the transformer. So yeah, that's another thing that needs doing. So I suppose so far so good. Turned it on. This one I don't mind if it gets wrecked because the tape isn't that wonderful. So I've just put the top screw in here, so this is still a bit loose. That's fine, just in case I have to take it apart again. I tend to find that if I put things completely back together without testing them, invariably they won't work. So yeah, I don't put things right back together generally. Super. That's looking good. Check it ejects okay. Lovely. That's perfect. Very pleased with that. So yes, I'll have to do the DC AC. So I've taken the DC AC converter out. As you can see, this is a later vented one, so much more repairable. And basically I've got out the big guns as well. Or should I say the big iron? That's a 100 watt iron, and I find it's just a lot quicker. You can do it with a lower wattage iron, but you're putting so much heat through this trying to do that. At least with this you can put a good bit of heat just where it's needed, nice and quickly lift off the cover. So yeah, let's crack on and get that sorted. that's it apart. It was, even with 100-watt iron, it was still quite a lot of effort. It's very well soldered. See where I just nicked the board a tiny bit there as well. Trying to lever off the metal lid. So this is normally lying down here. Okay, so that's all done. So these two were 10 microfarad, 50 volts. This one is also 10 microfarad, but it's 16 volts. And then the 330 is also 16 volts. Just laying that over. I was debating whether to put the base plate back on, but I am. And one of these, I think it's this one, is actually, I don't know if you can see that, it's actually bulging quite badly at the bottom there, so that's what'll be causing the issues with it. So yeah, that's good. That's the result. Probably they're all bad, drying out or whatever. But yeah, that one's actually not too bad. But yeah, it's a little bit trickier as well, because this one has a modification, one of the famous Sony ones. So I had to lift this up to get to some of the joints, but yeah, put it back together and give it a test, I suppose. So, all done. And that is now working as it should, so really pleased with that. Rest of it is all good, so it's ready to go back. So, thank you very much for watching, and see you in another video. And don't forget to subscribe and like and comment and all the rest of it. And yeah, see you soon. Bye.